Hello, I am Interweb Studios and today we listen to what things people are willing to tell Reddit but not their significant other. Sit back and enjoy. Whenever she's not home, I let the dog onto the bed and take a really comfy nap. I set an alarm for an hour and kick the dog off and clean the fur off before she ever gets home. I've been doing this for nearly 3 years now. That I know the word she's looking for, but it's more fun to hear her rattle off increasingly ridiculous, sometimes made up words instead. Our cat didn't break the towel rack. I did. I was pretending to be fighting zombies and grabbed it and ripped the goddamn thing off the wall. I heard her coming to check out the noise and looked down at my cat. She came into the bathroom to me asking my cat, "Why did you think the towel rack could hold your weight? You silly cat." I never paid for her engagement ring. I went to a custom jeweler to have her ring made. It's a beautiful piece, and she loves it dearly, and it certainly wasn't cheap, appraised and insured for around $10,000. The jeweler was dealing with a lot of family issues at the time, and was incredibly disorganized. I went to pick up the ring and brought my checkbook to pay for it, and when she handed me the ring I took it out and asked her who to make the check out to. She said, "Oh no, don't worry about it right now. Just send me a check in the mail." I thought that was strange, but sure, okay. She then hurried off to help another customer and I left. But she never told me what the final price was. For the next 6 months, I texted and called the jeweler asking, "Hey, just tell me what amount to put and I'll mail you the check." And there was always a reason she couldn't tell me. "Oh sorry, I'm out right now, I'll find it and text you later." Her shop was a few hours away from where I live, so it wasn't feasible to stop by and handle it in person. I tried for 6 months, but after that I stopped calling, texting and just figured I got the ring for free. I wouldn't tell my spouse, because I don't want her to think I took advantage of the situation or that somehow the ring isn't as meaningful, because I didn't pay for it. I've broken your personalized cup your sister got you 3 times. I recreated the design on paint and got some screen printing stall at the mall to print it on the cup. Each time it looks a little bit different. I mean, after the second time you just need to save the design, my guy. Duck that, just buy 3 cups next time and store them. When we bought our kids their first stuffed animals we bought in duplicate. Yes honey, Bunny magically got super clean from the washing machine after you wore it down until it was threadbare and drooled and peed on it. When I was 14, my grandma passed away. For years, I had been bothering my parents for my own gold necklace. Well, Gram had a little bit of money and she gave me the $300 for a gold necklace in her will. It was my pride and joy. I had it around my neck for 17 years before I met my wife. It was off my neck maybe 3 times in those 17 years. My wife, then girlfriend, knew how much it meant to me and asked to wear it once. Well, it never came home. She had lost it somewhere or it had gotten stolen. I was distraught like crazy for 3 or 4 days while we turned our house upside down looking for it. Inevitably, I gave up, but she was very bothered by it all. So, I decided to go to a pawn shop and buy the closest I could get to an exact duplicate, and then I told her that I had found the necklace in the couch cushions. To this day, she thinks that I found my necklace from my grandmother, but this is actually version 2. I dropped the diaper rash cream container on our daughter's head when she was like 8 days old. She let out this scream that still haunts me. When he came in the room to see what happened, I lied and said I just dropped the lid on her. How big was this container? Toothpaste tube size? Quart? Gallon? It was a container. Like the ones you'd see on a ship. Thanks random Redditor. I just had to explain in broken Spanish to my wife why dropping a shipping container on a baby's head is funny. That my wife always screams, she just doesn't seem to be able to talk at a normal level. Feel like she should be selling fish at a marketplace. Love her though. My husband loves talkative cats. When we first got our kittens, I gave them a treat every time they made a meow or chirp. Since I was working from home, they ended up becoming very vocal. He still goes on about how lucky we are to have such talkative cats on a weekly basis. Sometimes I just sit in my car outside work or our apartment for 20-30 minutes because I need some time alone. I have my mind full to the brim at work and rarely get time in the house alone. Sometimes I just need it to be quiet and not have to pay attention to anything. The reason I wasn't hungry that one day in Dublin was because when I stayed behind to get ready while she waited in the lobby, I ate the entire box of leftover chicken wings that we took home from the restaurant the day before. I ate 15 cold, oily chicken wings in about 5 minutes at 9 a.m. before heading out for breakfast. When I play video games and my wife isn't here, I narrate what I do and respond to fake questions from a non-existent chat like I'm some kind of big shot streamer. I even look at a fake camera when something happened, lol. I love that you look at the fake camera. My nieces don't like the aquarium. I just constantly took them there because I thought my now girlfriend, who works there, was pretty and thought if she saw me constantly taking them it'd lead to us talking. That she killed a cat. She's very much a cat person. Once she picks me up from a friend's house and driving through town, a cat ran in front of us and we heard a thud underneath the car. She screamed and looked in the rearview mirror and we seen the cat stagger into a driveway. She was very upset and convinced she killed it. I told her no, the cat clearly ran across the street and is probably fine. She was meeting some friends and I was taking the car home, so she said would I check the driveway of that house on my way home to make sure the cat was okay. I said I would. I drove back that way and parked a few houses down and looked in the driveways and there it was, lying motionless, sprawled out on the ground. Oh shit. Part of me was thinking just go home and say you seen it happily licking its anus, but curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to check to make sure it was still living. The problem was it was a gated house that was also a Airbnb, so I didn't want to just wander in on someone else's property, so I rang the phone number on the sign at the side of the road. By this stage I'm thinking, what the hell are you at? You should have been home long ago, but I was on autopilot and just went with it. The owner answers and I tell him there's a possibility there is a dead cat in your driveway. Do you mind if I come in just to check if it is okay? The guy is like, yeah, I guess. It's just I'm out of town and there's no one here, but it's fine if you want to let yourself in the side gate. He also says thanks, so at this point I have to do it, I'm too far in now. I let myself in and walk over and there she is, a big dead cat. Oh balls. Well, I'll just tell my wife the cat wasn't there and we can forget about the whole thing. Except the owner now knows there could be a dead cat on his property, and when he gets home and sees it lying there he's got my number and will know I just left it there. So now I have to make a decision. Do I leave this dead cat here or do I take it away, and if I do, what do I do with it? Across the street is a store, so I walk over and buy bin bags and rubber gloves, make my way back over and scoop the fluffy corpse into a bin bag. Now I got a dead cat in a bag. I walk over to my car carrying this black bin bag. People are walking past me on the street, smiling and giving that upwards nod that strangers give. I give a nod back, but I'm not fully into it because they don't know I'm walking past them with a dead cat in a bin bag. I don't feel like taking it into my car because, it's a dead cat. So I Google vets and there happens to be one not too far away, walking distance. I ring and ask them do they dispose of dead pets. They said they do. So I make my way down there, in through the front door, and ask the receptionist, was I just talking to them about pet disposal? She looks at me slightly freaked and says yes. I produce the bag and say, oh well, I have a cat here, and can I just give it to her? She's like, hey, yeah, you just leave it at our back door back outside, and charges me 50 quid for the pleasure. I walk back to the car, and sat there for at least half an hour, in silence and as still as a dead cat, trying to process the last hour of my life. I text my wife and say, no honey, couldn't find the cat, she must be fine and ran off somewhere safe, see you at home. That time I asked you if I could have the last cookie, I implied there was only one left when there was actually two. I wanted both of them and didn't want to share. They were delicious and I have no regrets. What I actually paid for my woodworking tools. Edit. Obligatory rip inbox. As a few have pointed out, this absolutely applies to pretty much any hobby. And I'll put it here since so many are asking, but I don't actually keep track of how much I've spent over the years, but just the big expensive ones I remember I'm over 5K already. Then all the smaller tools, chisels, hand planes, and ultimately I should include the cost of running a 220V single-phase outlet for my jointer and more than I really want to admit to myself. But the joy and sense of accomplishment I get on the completed pieces are worth every penny spent. It really is my happy place. As a guitarist, my biggest fear is that after I die, my wife will sell my guitars for what I told her I paid for them. Edit. I feel like I should probably state, for the record, that this is a long-standing joke in the musician community. My wife actually bought me 2 of my guitars. She knows how much they're worth, lol. That his parents are really pissing me off and I do not want to be around them anymore. They're lousy grandparents to our son but not to his sister's children. Edit. For clarity, I love my in-laws. My husband and I have been together for 12 years. We just had our first son last year after trying for a decade. He was born very early and spent a good chunk of his life in the NICU. He's now 10 months old and has been home for almost 6 of those. This issue I have had with my in-laws is a very recent development. It started immediately when he came home. We told both sides of our family we wanted at least a week for the 3 of us to get adjusted. We also had 4 different doctor's appointments in that first week. When my husband told his mom that we wanted that week, she got immediately upset. She assumed that my family would be coming by. He assured her that they were not, but she was still in belief that my mom would be here. My mom has a very demanding job and works a lot of OT. She manages to come see him at least once a week, and she lives about 40 minutes away. When she comes up she spends several hours here. His parents live between 10 and 15 minutes away depending on traffic. His dad does not work, and his mom has a lot of days where she works from home without a set schedule. They come up sometimes once a week and sometimes once every 2 weeks. For no longer than 1 hour at a time. I have told them on so many occasions that they're welcome to come up anytime as long as they call prior to coming in case we have an APPT or my mom is here. Our son is on oxygen and is still very high risk, so we try not to take him out too often or have him get overstimulated with too many visitors in one day. They see my SIL children daily or very close to daily. They're older, between 10 and 15 in ages. There are 4 children and the younger ones are not well behaved. When asked about why they don't come to see him more often recently, Phil was coming up with all kinds of things to be annoyed about. A FB post about a college my husband posted, a security camera we have in our living room from when we took a vacation that isn't plugged in, and that I was laying down because I got so little sleep the night before. I did talk to my husband about how I was feeling. He said he totally understands and said he's been feeling a little upset about them himself. Again, I do not hate them. They're very dear to me, which is why it upsets me so much that they don't want to see their grandson. And with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Since you have made it this far you must have enjoyed it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment anything. Please. And with that, until next time, toodles.